in clinical trials of certain types, particularly in CNS studies, central nervous system studies, where to measure the effectiveness of that drug, you may actually have to interview the patient. If it's a patient of depression or Alzheimer's or things of that nature, you have to interview the patient to understand whether that drug had effect or not. And when you introduce the concept of interviews, you sometimes introduce additional variability and subjectivity in the process. Clintara helps in these three areas: training and certification. We train the raters as to how to do the interviews in a consistent manner so that the inter-rater variability is eliminated. And we provide certification so that we say this rater is certified to use this particular medical instrument to assess the effectiveness of that drug, point one. Point two, we confirm that valid patients are in the study. If you have invalid patients in the study, that's also going to negatively affect the study. And lastly, we provide surveillance. What is surveillance? Surveillance we also call diligence, which is to say once you've been trained and certified and you're actually in the study, we actually then provide quality control to see that you're actually continuing to do what you're supposed to be doing. We use a smart pen, which looks just like this smart pen here, and as the interviewer, the rater, is asking the patient the questions and filling in the answers on the piece of paper, the smart pen is actually recording the gestures which are being made so that can be captured. And the smart pen also has a microphone where it can actually record, of course with the patient's consent, the audio dialogue that's occurring, so that then the gestures, the strokes, and the audio is uploaded to our data center, and an independent third party, a senior clinician, can then review sample data to say, did that interview take place appropriately? But one of the things that we've also done is we've actually expanded beyond that technology, and we're in the process of, we have a prototype of a touchpad, an iPad application that we've created, which kind of takes it to the next step.
When we saw these results, we knew that we had a problem, and honestly, we thought we had a systems problem. We weren't sure what the system was, whether it was IVR or randomization or packaging or the analysis in the lab or how folks were handling the samples, but we were convinced that we had a systems problem. And we convened a group that we referred to as our cross-functional issues resolution team. We identified 10 possible areas where we might have the kind of a systems problem that would give us these kinds of results, and we took this very seriously. We established our experts internally in each of those areas and put them to work on sub-teams to investigate these findings. The team invested hundreds of man-hours in each of these areas and really did a thorough job. And at the end of the day, we came up empty-handed. We couldn't identify any systems problems. But at about that same time, we had planned to meet with a group of advisors that we had worked with very closely on a number of different development programs at AstraZeneca. We refer to this team, this set of advisors, as our EPIC group. And when we were meeting with them, we not only showed them the results of these particular two studies, but also the results of our root cause analysis. And we asked them for advice. Got the same results from sites that were, among the most distinguished sites, among the sites that we had a very high level of confidence with. That demonstrated to us, and that sealed the deal for me, that this was a very widespread problem, that it was not an AstraZeneca problem, but rather perhaps a clinical research problem, or at a minimum, a CNS research problem where the endpoints are subjective and patients, if they're so motivated, can actually misrepresent themselves and enter studies and collect per visit payments. With our next program, this was a program in depression, a very large phase 3 program in depression. We recognized that we needed to do some things differently, and that's what I'd like to talk about for the remainder of my presentation.